of friendship and cooperation. Kimberly, back to you.
So what's Iran and North Korea really up to? Is this a partnership for peace or a recipe for disaster? Joining us from West Palm Beach is Arnaud de Bourgras, editor-at-large of UPI International, and in Washington is Iranian scholar Ghazal Omid. Thank you for joining me tonight. She's the author also of the book Living in Hell. Arnaud, I'll start with you first. What's the purpose and the message of this meeting between Iran and North Korea?
Well, I think we have to understand that the two have been fairly close in terms of nuclear cooperation and missile cooperation. North Korea is undoubtedly the 9th nuclear power in the world today. Iran has been working very hard for the last 20 years on becoming a nuclear power, which would make it the 10th nuclear power. We're dealing with the two members of the trio of the axis of evil of Mr. Bush, Iraq having been the first. And what is very important to remember, it seems to me here, is that while some elements of the Bush administration, plus the Iraq study group, which is going to release its report on the 7th of December, favor some kind of talks with Iran to see if we can have some kind of a geopolitical deal with them, whereby they would give up their nuclear ambitions. The regime of Ahmadinejad in Tehran is moving in the other direction. The last thing they want is to sit down and talk to the United States about a non-aggression treaty. What they really want, or at least what Ahmadinejad wants, if you get down to the bottom of his thinking, and that is that they would like to be attacked by Israel and or the United States for all sorts of reasons that would solidify the Muslim world behind them, and at the same time fulfill what Ahmadinejad considers to be his religious, very fundamental religious belief about the return of the 12th Imam to earth, otherwise known as the Mahdi, but that has to be preceded by death and destruction on a wide scale, whereafter the Mahdi returns to earth and leads what's left of the population to a new era of peace and prosperity under the banner of Islam.
So, Arnaud, what you're saying is Iran would actually like to be provoked and like for the West to attack them, in particular the United States.
I have no doubt about that at all. And as you've seen recently, Ehud Olmert, the Prime Minister of Israel, who was in Washington last Monday to see President Bush, has said that they consider Ahmadinejad the new Hitler, and Iran, under his presidency, has become, in effect, Nazi Germany.
All right, I'll go to Ghazal. What does Iran really think, in your opinion, of North Korea and its leader?
Well, they're not exactly friends, but as you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They're sort of bonding with each other because they know the two of them can bring the United States to its needs. And even though that Iran is about 3 to 5 years away from building a nuclear bomb, but they think if they can't make them themselves, they can at least borrow it from their friends. And that's the only reason. And also they're trying to gather support among the Arabs and also among the other countries. And as Arnaud said, if Israel or the United States attack them, they will basically make a mess in the Middle East, especially they will rise the prices of oil to $300 a barrel. And that will hurt the United States more than anything else. And that's the reason that Iran is doing what they're doing. Basically, Ahmadinejad is not as dumb as everybody think he is. He's boasting quite a bit. He doesn't have the nuclear bomb right now, but he's trying to get it.
All right, let's go back to Arnaud. Now, in my opinion, you only enrich uranium if you want war.
Oh, there's no question about it. They've been working on this for 20 years. And if you look at it from their standpoint, sitting in Tehran, whether you have a democratic regime or a bunch of generals in a junta or the mullahs in power, and you look at the region from their standpoint, they have obviously plenty of legitimate security concerns. They have on their right 20,000 American soldiers in Afghanistan, plus 20,000 NATO troops. On their left flank in Iraq, they have 145,000 American troops. At the rear, they have the U.S. fleet. And 4 of the world's 8 nuclear powers are in their region. Russia to the north, Israel to the west, India and Pakistan to the east. There is no question they are determined to become a nuclear power.
Is there any reason, Arnaud, to believe that Iran's desire to enrich uranium and increase their nuclear capability is for a peaceful purpose?
No, none at all. I don't think there's a shred of evidence, except for what they say publicly,
exactly,
which is sheer which is sheer disinformation. And the same methods were used throughout the Cold War by the Soviet Union, talking about peace, talking about nuclear disarmament.
Ghazal, do you believe that direct negotiations can diffuse the tensions between the United States and Iran?
I don't believe so because I don't believe so because
Yes,
they think
ahead.
that they will bring the United States to its knees. I think that Iranian people don't want the direct negotiation, but they do want you to help them to stand up to them, to the Iranian regime, because, as I said many times, and I have contacts with Iranian people on every daily basis, that they say, please don't negotiate with this regime because it emboldens them.
Wow. Let's go back to our note. Do you think that the United States, in particular the Bush administration, made a mistake by taking on Iraq first instead of perhaps focusing on where there might be a very real credible threat in Iran or Syria?
Well, there's no question about that. If you looked at Iraq as objectively as possible, Saddam Hussein was confined to his dirty little sandbox. He was a threat to no one except to his own people. His neighbors were not afraid of him. The Europeans were not afraid of him. But the United States decided, as we all know, that he was a mortal threat to the United States. The neoconservatives, who were very much in favor of Iraq, as a matter of fact, preferred to take on Iran before taking on Iraq.
All right. Well, that's about all the time we have for this interesting discussion tonight. Ghazal Omid and Arnaud de Bourgras, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and here's a look at what's coming up in the lineup. Coming up, North Korea and Iran may make dangerous bedfellows, but does this mean Iran is becoming a hotbed for hostile activity? We're going to take you inside Iran